Let's talk about modding in Fallout 76. This is obviously a subject that is close to my heart, and so I did talk to quite a few people while I was at the event and wanted to find out what their opinions were with regards what sort of mods would be allowed, how it would all work logistically. You know, would we be able to have mods on Nexus? Would it be locked to BethesdaNet? Would we be installing the mods ourselves, or would you sort of have a private server with a list of mods and you automatically start downloading them as soon as you try to join? All these sort of questions, the sort of questions that are going to have to be answered before they can roll out modding on a multiplayer game. And whilst we had a lot of very interesting what-if conversations around a table, we didn't actually get any new information. So there's not really a lot I can tell you guys with regards how they intend to allow modding, or if they even intend to allow modding. Or let me rephrase that. If they will actually find a way to enable modding, and whether or not they will end up feeling it is worth it. Because in the end, that's my biggest my biggest reservation when it comes to modding with Fallout 76. It's more a matter of incentive. I'm not completely sure what sort of mods I'd want to see on this game. There are one or two, for example, Immersive HUD. I can see straight away that the heads-up display is way too cluttered for me, and I would like to have Immersive HUD. But I don't want to be restricted to a private server just to get my heads-up display a little less cluttered. So honestly, would I use Immersive HUD? Would I create that mod for this game? I don't know. And there are plenty of other great mods out there that you could think of. Mods that add contents, player homes, buildings. The sort of mods that I'm not totally sure are really needed or how much people will want them. What sort of mods would you want for this sort of game? You're not going to be going to different lands, I think. I mean, it would be incredible if someone could make a totally different world with the same mechanics. But that's a huge task for what would be a fairly small audience, in my opinion. Unlike Fallout 4, Skyrim, Fallout New Vegas, where we've got, millions of people eagerly awaiting mods, how many people are going to want to mod Fallout 76? How many of them are going to be willing to set up, perhaps pay for, a private server? I mean, we don't know the details on that. They could be free. How many people are going to set that up? How many people are going to want to then join them? I'm not totally sure this is going to be a major thing. So even if Bethesda invest the time into getting this set up, how many people will actually sort of jump in and just start making incredible mods, and how many people will start using them? For me, the biggest incentive to have a private server is probably so that you could tweak some of the settings. Perhaps you don't want PvP, or perhaps you want unrestrained PvP. You can snipe someone from across the map even if they haven't engaged with you. Things like that. But in actual fact, that sort of thing sounds like the sort of thing that should come as default when setting up a private server. I would actually say the biggest incentive to having a private server is so that you can restrict who joins or have a slightly different rule set. And perhaps those rules would come via mods. But honestly, those are the sort of things that I almost feel should be part of the settings menu when you set up your server, part of the admin process. So what other sorts of mods would you want? New weapons, new armor? I suppose that could be fun. But honestly, whenever I get something like a new weapon or a new suit of power armor, I'm probably going to want to show it off. And if I'm restricted to this one server, because on a private server, I'm expecting that you're going to have a unique character on that server with those mods, that the character will not transfer to other servers. I may be wrong on that, but that's the sort of assumption I'm making. This would mean every single time you went to a new server, you'd get some new mods and new stuff, but it's probably stuff everyone has anyway, because that's why they added the mods. A big part of, having new cool weapons and new cool armor is because someone else doesn't have it, or you're competing with them. And this seems to be more, well, it seems to work better in a public server setting. And I think this is one of the reasons that the cosmetic items they're going to be selling in-game will work really well with this sort of a game. People are going to want the new bling, so they can wander around going, hey, look at my new power armor skin, look at this. You know, and so a lot of the sort of mods I might think you might want are also the sort of things you're probably going to want to take onto public servers. And I think we just have to accept that is never going to happen. It would be nice if they allowed some mods on public servers, like UI mods, Immersive HUD, something like that. But they're not going to allow people to just have a modded skin and then, well, they'd have to force that onto every single solitary public server, and therefore every single other person who owns the game would have to have that mod installed and so on. So if it's not part of the Atom market economy, you're not going to be able to show it off. So I guess what I'm saying is I'm not really seeing the drive to mod Fallout 76. I'm not seeing 10,000 modding ideas being, you know, eagerly adopted by people who want to use the mods, and more importantly, people who are willing to put in all the work to create those mods. Now, I know that might sound a little negative, and I don't want it to sound that way. I'm not actually saying, oh my god, this game is not going to be moddable, how dare they not make it moddable. I'm sure they actually are very open to the idea of having this game moddable, and they may well, in a future date, actually implement some system that allows us to add mods. I'm just not feeling that the game is itself a natural fit with the sort of mods we've been seeing in our modding community. I've actually done a long 10-part series where I discuss the Bethesda Gaming Studios games and what I love about them, and I called it the Elder Scrolls formula. I was trying to identify what it is about all of their games that I loved, and one of the recurring themes was modding. But the reason modding works so well with their games is their games are pretty much set up to be a natural fit for modding. They have games where you get to tell your own story, and you can tell many stories over and over again. And their games are, generally speaking, for the most part, very replayable. And of course, this is a natural fit for modding. You can add mods that will help you tell a slightly different story each time, and of course also make the game more replayable each and every time. You can play once through without mods, then have a different character and play with a load of mods, then a totally different character with a whole new set of mods, and so on. There's a natural fit between the BGS games and the modding community, and I think that is why modding exploded for their games and why their games benefit so much from modding. And I'm not seeing that fit in Fallout 76. Again, it's no insult to the game or what they're going for here. It's just this game has different incentives. It's going to appeal to different people, but it also has different incentives. I can't imagine me playing this game 7 or 8 times through, because it's not that sort of a game. You don't play it once, get your character to level 60 and then start a new one. You might play a few different characters, I don't know how that's going to work, just so you've got one character that's high intelligence and charisma, and then maybe you want one that's high strength, and maybe you'll swap them in and out. But I can't see you playing a timid engineer who has a fear of heights in one playthrough, and then starting the next one and playing a not-so-bright warrior who has aggression problems, and role-playing it all the way to the end. It's not that sort of game. And thus, it's not a game I consider to be replayable. It's just continuously playable, and the reasons for playing are not ones that I feel necessarily gel with modding. Now, I might be wrong about that. I've only played for 3 hours. So this is just my gut feeling. So, you know, they might roll out the private servers, the ability to mod, and the modding community will just jump up and start making some amazing mods, and I'll think, oh my god, how wrong I was. I need that mod, that mod, that mod. Get me a private server. I will see you guys in a few years, and off I go. It is possible. It is possible. I'm not saying that I know for a fact. It's just, usually when I look at a BGS game, I can pretty much start imagining the mods I'm going to use instantly and start discussing them. Partly because it's so much fun to annoy all the people who go, oh, for God's sake, play the game vanilla at least once through. You're ruining the experience. It's an insult to the developers, a slap in the face of the developers, right? I mean, you know, usually I can do that. I looked at Skyrim and I made a video within about 10 minutes of playing the game that was like, you know, okay, I think we're going to need Darker Nights. I think I'm going to want this UI mod. I think I'm going to want this and that, blah, blah, blah. And I went through them and I could just rattle them off. And I can almost predict what I'm going to want with the Elder Scrolls 6. Starfield's a little tougher, but I bet you I can imagine a bunch of mods I might want. I can just imagine it, like UI mods, that sort of thing. So that is something I normally do. And with Fallout 76, all I can think is I want Immersive HUD, but I don't want to be restricted to a private server. And beyond that, I don't know. So, now that I have predicted what is probably the next death of modding, you know, Fallout 76, I'm not totally convinced it's going to be very friendly for mods. That's going to be it. Everyone's going to be like, that's it, they've killed off mods. You know, the mod apocalypse is back on. Incidentally, if that gets announced, if they announce that a few years after release, we're going to have an event. We're going to have the Mod Apocalypse 2019 event. I may even have t-shirts. I survived the Mod Apocalypse, and all I got was this lousy t-shirt or something. Mod Apocalypse 2019. I'll keep you up to date when the announcement gets made. We have to have one, at least one a year. Usually 2 a year, but definitely going to have one. We're definitely going to have one in 2019, guaranteed. But whenever we're talking about things like the Mod Apocalypse, we have to bring up the Creation Club. You know, dun dun dun, the Creation Club. Is it coming? Is it here? And my answer is I don't think so. In fact, I'm 99% sure it won't be here. Now, I know a lot of people get really sort of confused about the Creation Club and mods. And a lot of people are saying, no, when they're talking about modding, they're talking about the Creation Club. They're not. Bethesda do not use the word mods to describe Creation Club stuff. They don't consider the stuff on the Creation Club to be mods. Neither do I, actually. Technically, they don't meet a useful definition. But the technicalities are unimportant here. What is important is when Bethesda talk about mods, they are talking about the stuff that's on BethesdaNet and Nexus. When they talk about the Creation Club, they talk about the Creation Club. And so when they say we're going to look into adding mods on private servers at a later date, they are talking about mods, not the Creation Club. As I've said a load of times, there is no way in hell they're going to have pay for content that's restricted to private servers only. Especially seeing as I'm not convinced those private servers are going to be as popular as you might have originally thought. Again, I might be wrong about that, but I just don't think they would restrict pay for content to private servers, right? They're going to want that when they sell that content, those skins. They're going to want you to put that skin on and wander around the public servers, making everyone jealous. They're just going to. So when they're talking about private servers, you know they're talking about mods. When they talk about, well, we're thinking about adding it at a future date, you should know pretty much they're talking about mods. Because let's be honest, there is no way in hell they ever planned on releasing this game without some sort of pay for content, without microtransactions, right? So why am I saying they're not going to add the Creation Club then? If I'm saying they're going, you know, they're going to have microtransactions, they're going to have it available on the public servers. And the quicker viewers will have already spotted the fact that they've already got that. The Atom market, it's already here. And it's just the Creation Club for Fallout 76. What is the Creation Club? A lot of people seem to focus on the fact that it has some similarities to paid mods and have missed the fact that it's microtransactions for Fallout 4 and Skyrim Special Edition. And what is the Atom market? It is microtransactions for Fallout 76. They've already got it. They've renamed the Creation Club the Atom market. They've renamed Bethesda Books to Atoms. And from the looks of things, they've integrated the store into the game a lot better. We've not seen it, but you know, you can see the Atoms appearing in game. I'm assuming the Atom store's probably going to be available in game. They've already got it. They've already got a way to sell you content directly with a premium currency that you will almost certainly be able to buy. It's there. They really don't need to add another one, do they? I mean, I'm saying this, maybe they want 2 premium currencies and 2 totally different stores. One that's integrated into the game really well and another one that's not. Because let's be honest, the Creation Club was a sort of fairly badly implemented system because they were trying to shoehorn microtransactions into games that didn't have it. Fallout 76 has been built with microtransactions in mind, and they're going to be there from day one. There's going to be a premium currency, and I don't see the need for the Creation Club. I really don't. Now, is it possible they will sell some content that is for the private servers? Stuff that really has more of a, is not cosmetic. Because, of course, on the public servers, if they try to have anything that's not cosmetic, the community will have a meltdown, and rightfully so. And you can't make pay for win in a game like this. So, will they have things that could potentially cross that boundary, be pay for win, and restricted to private servers? Yes. But again, why would they need a Creation Club for that? You could still use the Atom. You could still use the Atom store. You would just need to buy that content from the Atom store, and it would be flagged as private server only. And when you try to join a server, it would say, oh, I'm afraid you're going to need to buy this content and that content from Bethesda. And so I think that might happen, although again, that could be problematic. That could be something that the community just go, we're not interested in. I actually think they would be wise to stick to pure cosmetics. And I actually think there's a good business model to be had there. Warframe proves this. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying I approve of microtransactions in a single-player game that's full price, because I don't. I don't. To me, that was the thing that was wrong with the Creation Club in Fallout 4 and Skyrim Special Edition. It's microtransactions, and I worry about the value proposition for consumers, but more importantly, I worry about the effect it's going to have on what people would call proper DLC, because, making something like Far Harbor for $25 seems a waste of time if you can just make a few weapons and armor pieces and make the same amount of money. So I don't like microtransactions in the Bethesda Gaming Studios games. Don't get me wrong. I do see the appeal of cosmetic microtransactions in a game like this. I do wish they'd gone with the free game idea, because I think when you mix these business practices, I'm not a fan. I'm just not a fan. I'm going to leave it there. I'm not a fan. I don't have a problem with microtransactions in games like Warframe. I'm just not keen on them in games that are full price. And I don't think I'm keen on them in BGS games. I really don't want to see them in the next Elder Scrolls or Starfield. So, don't take my comments here as some sort of approval of microtransactions. But that's what Creation Club is. That is what is already available in Fallout 76. So, honestly, I don't think we're going to see something called the Creation Club. Now, on the issue of modding, I do hope I'm wrong. And if for some reason Bethesda do get to hear this and they're like, oh, you are dead wrong. We are going to make this game so easy to mod, and you're going to have so many incentives to mod it, and you will be modding for the rest of your life, and you are going to love making mods for this game and playing with mods. I'm up for that. You want to prove me wrong? You make it so that I just look at this game and think, oh God, I need this mod, that mod, this mod, that mod, and I'm willing to get myself a private server just to have it. Do it. I challenge you to make me want to mod this game, because of course a big part of the appeal of BGS games is modding. My hobby is modding, and so that's as big a part of the BGS appeal as playing the games. It's a two-pronged approach, two-sided coin. I like both things, is what I'm saying. So yeah, if I'm wrong and there's tons of modding capabilities, brilliant. I'm not holding my breath and waiting for it. I do believe that they really would like mod support, because I do believe they recognize their games being moddable has been part of the appeal. But at the same time, I'm not sure I actually want them to shoehorn it into a game that's not necessarily well suited to it. I might prefer them to spend time elsewhere, perhaps create interesting content for this game, or, I don't know, move some of the developers over to Starfield and Elder Scrolls 6 and hurry that one along. I know that's not an issue. I know that's not a thing. I am sorry. I'm looking forward to the next BGS single-player RPG. That's a good thing, though, right? That's a good thing. That's not a criticism of the current offering. Fallout 76. I'm sure I'm going to play it. I'm going to give it a go, and I'm sure I'm going to have fun. I did have fun at the event, but you know, I am still eagerly awaiting Elder Scrolls 6 and Starfield, and even Fallout 5. But that's not a bad thing. That's a good thing.